Ichiro, come on, I mean, you know him and you love him, unless you are that one guy that did not vote for him to get into the Hall of Fame. He is one of the most universally loved and respected players of his generation, and he did it all in a very unique way, and is easily one of the very best Seattle Mariners who has ever lived. But did you know, he also has one MLB pitching appearance to his name? It was for one inning when he was 41 years of age, and as a member of the Miami Marlins. At this point, he had already been a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. Years before doing this, he was just about to have some fun, because Ichiro, secretly, in the background of his entire life, loved to pitch. Ichiro was actually a primary pitcher in high school, and go figure, one of the most natural contact hitters of all time, was seen as more of a pitcher growing up rather than being a hitter. Because of that, he's never lost his love for pitching, and he made a pitching appearance in the Japanese All-Star game 5 years before ever setting foot in Major League Baseball, and he was throwing over 90 miles an hour. He was supposedly clocked in at 92 miles an hour when he was working out to be an emergency pitching option in the 2009 World Baseball Classic, and he threw out the fastest MLB first pitch ever when he was 48, doing so while in full uniform. And none of that velocity should be too big of a surprise, and I mean, just look at the cannon he had from the outfield.
You can call that as an umpire. That's right down the middle strike, baby. Look at that arm, people.
Ichiro also once threw a complete game shutout against the Japanese high school girls team when he was 50 years of age. The point is, this dude takes his pitching very seriously, and he begged basically all of his managers ever in pro baseball to let him go out there and pitch. But only once was he ever given the opportunity to pitch in real Major League Baseball. And well, how did that go? Let's see. It was the last day of the 2015 MLB regular season. Ichiro's Marlins are in Philadelphia playing the Phillies, of course, because who else would they be playing in Philadelphia? And both of these teams are horrible baseball teams, with nothing to play for but stats and pride. Ichiro leads off as a hitter in the top of the 8th inning with the Marlins down 6-2, and he does something that feels just as rare as his pitching. Well, he struck out. It's definitely as rare, and don't go check the stats. Ichiro walks back to the dugout, and it's not even remotely on anyone's radar that he might shift from right field to the mound the very next inning. He doesn't warm up, and it's not brought up by either team's announcers, but Marlins manager Mike Redmond was seemingly ready for the surprise to be revealed, and Ichiro trots out there to pitch. Everyone is smiling and recognize that they are witnessing one of the coolest things that they might ever see on the baseball field. And what gets even cooler is when this 41-year-old man who has never pitched in the bigs before throws his first big league pitch at 86 miles an hour. His catcher can't even catch it, that's how fast the ball was moving. Or maybe he's just stunned by how legit this can actually pass for. This isn't some gimmick of a position player who throws like 33 miles an hour out there and doesn't really care, but more, he can pass for an actual pitcher. Although we quickly do crash back down to earth on pitch number 2 when Odubel Herrera lines a double to right field off another 86 mile an hour Ichiro pitch. Ichiro then immediately does his incredibly funny cringe when he sees the ball land in right field. He's now in the books officially as a pitcher in MLB history. He just now has to prevent embarrassment for himself. So far so good though, unless you think getting literally laughed at by the guy who just hit a double off of you is a problem. The next 2 pitches are both clocked in at 87 miles an hour. He's legitimately throwing harder than some really good college pitchers and even some big leaguers right now. He's also getting squeezed a little bit by the umpires on these pitches, getting the full experience of what it's like to be a pitcher. Come on, Blue, it's Ichiro! In a meaningless game, you can't cut this legend a break. All this before including a fly out to center for his first ever out recorded in the major leagues. I wonder who thinks this is funnier. Ichiro now getting to smirk with pride after getting a big league hitter out, or the Phillies catcher Cameron Rupp, who probably just realized, wait a second, I just made an out against Ichiro pitching. And Ichiro, for what it's worth, knows that a crack of the bat that good is usually trouble. He once again cringes as the ball leaves the bat, only to casually regroup and cover third base once he realized he didn't get taken yard. So like, congratulations Ichiro for getting lucky, you bum. Again though, we can't be happy too long, as Ichiro throws an 87 mile an hour fastball right down the middle, basically the equivalent of walking up and putting the ball on a tee when you face a big league hitter, and known big league hitter Darnell Sweeney rips it. A long double to right field, and Odubel Herrera scores, and now Ichiro is officially getting shelled. He probably realizes it and starts to get kinda mad, rearing back and now chucking an 88 mile an hour heater on the first pitch of his next hitter. He's not getting tired at 41 years of age, and it seems he's doing the exact opposite, but then some really good stuff happens. You may have noticed that Ichiro has thrown all 86 to 88 mile-an-hour fastballs at this point. He's getting kind of predictable, and Phillies infielder Freddie Galvis, who went on to play 10 years in Major League Baseball with multiple 20-homer seasons, is figuring that out too and is sitting on a fastball to smoke just like Herrera and Sweeney did. But then Ichiro drops in a hook, a beautiful curveball that Galvis just whiffs on. Ichiro has just sliced up a real-life MLB hitter, and Galvis knew this right away as he cracks a smile at the realization of what just happened. Swinging late on a 78 mile-per-hour curveball means you just got totally cooked by the opposing pitcher. Ichiro now has Galvis 0-2 at the plate when he buries a 79 mile-an-hour changeup into the dirt, as a big league pitcher would probably do. If you literally just started watching baseball today, Ichiro's ability to blend in and pass for a big league pitcher is kinda crazy. He does pitch the way big league pitching is probably supposed to look like, and not none of this nonsense with outfielders who take the mound and what that usually looks like. He then debuts another new pitch, an 80 mile-an-hour slider, or cutter, we're not really 100% sure, that Freddie Galvis grounds out to second base on, and Ichiro has just completely dismantled an actual big league hitter, and he's 1 out away from finishing up the inning. He starts his next hitter off with a pretty tight 78 mile-an-hour breaking ball that misses once again for a ball. But like, look at this thing. It's kind of nasty, and you know, I see you, Ichiro, I see what you're doing. So imagine everyone's surprise when he throws an even prettier breaking ball for a strike on the very next pitch. Perfectly located to look like, wow, that is some paint from this wonderful old geezer. He goes back upstairs with a fastball next, and it gets fouled off. The master of timing and deception, Ichiro, is no longer getting barreled up. But nope, we can't have good things anymore, and he throws this pitch like 10 feet short of the plate, and it kicks over to New Jersey practically. Darnell Sweeney, the gentleman and Ichiro respecter that he is, doesn't come home and score on a run that Ichiro practically just gift wrapped for the Phillies. As he was probably mindful of helping this icon of baseball stat pad his ERA just a little bit. He battles with Aaron Altair for a couple pitches, and he was unable to put him away with a few different pitches that either just missed or got fouled off. A true 1v1 here between 24-year-old rookie and 41-year-old veteran Ichiro. Ichiro then throws a breaking ball, a hittable one this time, to Altair, who hits a short fly ball to left field that easily results in out number 3, and Ichiro just completed a real-life pitching inning in Major League Baseball. The Phillies crowd and Marlins dugout go wild. He daps up his catcher and Marlins teammate, keeping up the ruse of being a serious, locked-in pitcher just long enough before cracking some smiles and laughs with his boys. Seemingly everyone goes and surrounds Ichiro to pick his brain about his total domination over the Phillies, and the wise old sage Ichiro gives a very animated-looking seminar on the art of pitching to a group including the Marlins pitching coach and their ace, Jose Fernandez. The game ends a few minutes later, and the Marlins lose 7-2, and their season is officially over. This is a fun piece of trivia. The Marlins manager, Mike Redmond, was fired after the season. The last pitching change he ever made on the job was subbing Ichiro into pitch, and that's kinda awesome. Everyone who watched this immediately understood that they just watched one of the most cool and fun things the game of baseball has ever produced. A moment where an icon who begged and pleaded for the chance to pitch for real went out there and showed that he could actually do it. Stats may not back it up as much as you'd like, but we'll get into those in a minute, and don't you worry. But at the time, no one cared about that while this was happening. No stats change anything that happened here, and he could have given up 900-foot homers to every batter here, and we would still absolutely love it. It doesn't matter, which is exactly why we're going to break down his stats before we go. Ichiro's career MLB ERA sits at 9, which is terrible. It literally means he gives up a run every single inning he has ever pitched, which you may have observed is the truth that just took place. ERA plus is a stat that explains how good a pitcher's ERA actually is in context. 100 is always average, no matter what and no matter who you are. The higher is better, lower is worse. Ichiro's ERA plus is 59, 41% worse than the average MLB pitcher. So like, he sucks at preventing runs, but for Ichiro, I mean, come on, you probably expect it way worse. His whip, which calculates how many walks and hits per innings pitched, is a nice gauge for if at the very least he keeps runners off the base. and that is 2, given the 2 doubles and all. 2 runners on every inning you pitched is also very bad. Imagine how stressed you'd be watching your team give up 2 base runners every single inning of every single game. His FIP, which is ERA based solely on the things pitchers can theoretically control, isn't that bad though. It's 3.13. The same exact FIP that Zach Wheeler just had last year and got 4 Cy Young votes for first place. So basically what I'm saying is Ichiro technically is as good as a pitcher as Zach Wheeler, and right there the numbers officially prove that, everybody. But wait, there's more. I know you're one of those analytic nerds if you're watching this video, and likely your fist is clenched behind the screen right now saying none of these stats actually matter, and the only stats that matter are ones you can find on Baseball Savant. You know it, the premier modern cutting-edge website that houses all the main advanced analytics for every current player that don't show up on grandpa's old baseball cards. And since Ichiro played in ancient times, we don't have that on him, do we? Well, that's where we're wrong. I present to you Ichiro's Baseball Savant page as a pitcher. Red is good and blue is bad. So by these metrics, Ichiro is literally terrible at everything except for not walking people. Cause, oh yeah, Ichiro threw strikes and didn't walk a single hitter if you didn't notice. So his MLB walk rate as a pitcher sits at 0%. An ungodly high stat that definitely isn't helped by such a small sample size. Expected ERA over 80 and expected batting average over 500. Well, yikes, we don't need to see these anymore, we can put this page away. It is funny though that 41-year-old Ichiro did better than several actual big leaguers that year at getting good extension off the mound, and average fastball velocity was very good. 41-year-old Ichiro was cooking up heaters harder than some actual big league pitchers at the time. In fact, he was only 5 miles per hour behind the average Major League Baseball fastball velocity for that season. His average fastball is listed at 88.5 miles an hour, which that shouldn't be right, as 88 was the hardest pitch on the TV radar gun, but his average fastball was harder than that. Wait, either the TV radar guns are seriously inaccurate, or the mystery of Ichiro's secret pitching skills just got even more amazing. With that said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow for part 2, where we talk about the mystery of Ichiro's fastball velocity in depth in a 6-hour documentary only on Stark Raving Sports. Have a good one.